So, time is 7:01. I'll call to order the City of Torrington Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for September 21st, 2022. This evening, attendance is by Zoom or in person at City Hall Auditorium, Room 218, 140 Main Street, Torrington, Connecticut. Instructions for Zoom are available online at www.torringtonct.org/Zoom. There's a link there to join the meeting. You call in 1-646-558-8656, meeting ID 795-950-7035. Passcode is 907148. Moving on to agenda item number 2, attendance. Serving on the commission this evening in person is Donna Greco, myself, Greg Mealy, Jeremy Leifer, our city planners here. Serving remotely is Tom Tellman, Donovan Riley, and Diane Carroll. Moving on to agenda item number 3, minutes for approval for 8/17/22. We had special meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Diane Carroll.
Thank you, Diane. Do I have a second?
Second.
You weren't here.
I was not here.
I think we got Donovan on the second.
Yeah,
He
I was
wasn't,
here, wasn't I? Yeah.
he wasn't listed.
Oh, I'm thinking August 24th.
Oh, yeah, so this is just for the special meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Do we have 3?
Not on that one.
Okay, we can
Just table.
we can table it. Yep.
We're going to table those minutes for approval. Moving on to agenda item number 3B, minutes for approval for 8/24/22. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a-
Diane Carroll abstains. I wasn't there.
Thank you. I have a motion from Donovan. I have a second from Donna.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to agenda item number 4, public hearing beginning at 7 p.m. September 21st, 2022, City Hall Auditorium, room 218, 140 Main Street, Torrington, Connecticut. A, proposed zone change map, applicant Florence Thibault, location 601 South Main Street, proposal change zone to local business currently R6. There's a notice defect on this application, and this will be postponed to a later date.
The sign was not posted on the property. We actually still have it in our office. So yeah, we can't open the hearing tonight.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 5, old business, we have none. Moving on to agenda item number 6, new business. A, proposed zone change map, applicant, the Charlotte Hungerford Hospital, location 1215 New Litchfield Street, proposal change zone to LB, local business, currently R6. We need to set a public hearing date. The suggested date is October 26th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Diane Carroll.
Thank you, Diane. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Donna Greco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
What
So
date was
moved.
that?
For the record, Starley Arias is also remote. Good evening, Starley. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good,
Thank you.
thanks.
What date was that for that?
I'm sorry,
What date? Charlotte Hungerford.
October 26th. Since Starley's here, we can knock off our special.
Yeah, you want to go
Yeah,
back
I'm
to
going to
these?
go back to item number 3, minutes for approval for 8/17/22 special meeting minutes. An approval. Diane,
I made the motion.
thank you, Diane. Starley, could you second that?
I second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. An abstention from
Tom Tellman.
Tom Tallman and Donovan Riley and Donna Greco. Thank you. All right, moving on to agenda item number 6B, re-subdivision application. Applicant Keith Bodwell, PELS, location Alvord Park Road, assessors map 135, block 003, lot 052. Proposal 3-lot re-subdivision of a 4.1 acre parcel in the IP zone We need to set a public hearing date. The suggested date is October 26, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you,
Diane
Diane.
Carroll.
Second.
Second from Donna Greco. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to agenda item number 6C. Whoa. Site plan application number 1421, applicant Dibble Street Associates LLC, location 1565 East Main Street. Proposal site plan / change of use from a former auto storage lot to retail storage shed sales.
So it doesn't look like we have the applicant to present tonight. I did put a memo in everyone's packet for this one, or hang on one second. Where is today's date? Oh, wait a minute. It's down here. Just want to, I'll just open this and show you the site plan real quick and share it. 1565, correct?
I just see a site plan application in the paperwork.
Yeah, I'm going to share screen. One sec here.
Okay.
It's a little slow. I'm just waiting for it to open up.
This is what, the old Toyota?
It's the old overflow lot, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is to use the lot for, or, residential shed sales, display and small sales office. As you see in the memo, we didn't really receive any comments back from this yet because we just got it in at the end of last week. There is going to be the requirement for them to get a wetlands permit also, since you'll see that dashed line kind of enters right into the side of the parking lot.
Mhm.
So we have a few things to hammer out, and so I'm just suggesting that we table this for a decision and discussion next meeting.
Do we have a
So
motion to
moved.
table? That was Tom Tallman.
I'll
Yeah.
second Diane Carroll.
Thank you, Diane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Jeremy, where's the access for that?
It-
Right off East
It is right, it's an existing entrance off East Main.
Was there another entrance off the backside at one point?
I think it went all the way, I walked the property with Alan, and it went all the way through to the residential
Yeah.
property.
Years ago it did, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
he cut it off and improved their driveway to Dibble Street on the other side.
Okay. All right, moving on to agenda item number 6D, special exception number 22-07, site plan number 1422. Applicant is Pinbro Associates LLC, location 887 and 895 Midget Avenue. Proposal, new construction of self-storage units. We need to set a public hearing date. The suggested date is October 26, 2022. Motion?
I'll make a motion, Diane Carroll.
Thank you, Diane. Do I have a second?
So moved. Tom
Thank you,
Tallman.
Tom. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to agenda item number 6E, site plan application number 1423. Applicant is Ryan Batchelder, location 1050 East Main Street. Proposal site plan / change of use of a portion of the property from single-family use to carry out food service and vehicle storage use.
Is this,
Yeah.
this is the Batchy Brew truck?
Yes.
Correct. Is the applicant in attendance, please? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Ryan Batchelder.
Okay. Yeah.
So two people.
Yeah.
Sure, that's great. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we got one here. That's good. That's fine.
Just give me 1 second, Keith. I'm gonna put it up on the screen too.
Yep. Used to be the plant depot. there.
Yeah, back in the day, Bocce's, back in the day, hot dog place.
Was it Bocce's?
Yep,
No, it was Giovanni's.
It
back
was
in the day.
Giovanni's many years ago. Yep.
which was bocce.
Yes, exactly.
Wait. Yes.
Got it?
So was the zoning changed? Because it must have been local business then, no?
A portion of it was residential, but it was changed to 15, 20 years ago to be all local business.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. I'm set.
All right, so we're looking to have a spot up front here for food truck to be parked, a couple picnic tables. Parking along where the existing parking was from the plant depot. And then also looking to put a gravel pad just to store.
My other trailer, told,
trailers.
truck that I used to pull the trailer and stuff like that.
The gravel parking was 25 feet off the residential boundary.
So where the truck is now is where it's gonna be or not?
Right, correct. Where the truck is now is right in here, and that's where it's gonna stay. I recognize that the existing gravel is over top the property line, and we're get that pulled back.
Okay.
Is that truck or a food truck, is it set back enough that when traffic is coming out of Hartford Ave, they can see up and down East Main?
Yeah, there's the property line itself is 20 feet back beyond the. from East
You could
Main.
probably pull one of those up so you can get to it. Just throw it on the shelf first. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, the property line itself is about 20 feet back from East Main Street, so.
Okay.
And when we pull the gravel back, it'll all be well back of the sight line of East Main.
Okay.
So I did kind of late in the day send out you guys saw the, I don't know if you
Yes.
saw the memo.
I did not.
Okay.
But I was out in the field
I'll
today,
give
so
you,
I just.
I'll give you both copies.
Oh, I see it now.
Can I ask is this a time for a quick question?
Go ahead, Donovan.
So driving by, is the proposal basically what we're seeing there now?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, with the addition of a gravel behind the old garage for parking the trailer and stuff.
So you own that entire lot with that existing old house that's there?
Yes,
Okay. And what's that being used for right now?
the house.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna be making the house into like an Airbnb, so try to attract more people coming to Torrington, give them a nice place to stay.
okay,
So for zoning purposes, as long as it's a single family use, regardless of if it's rented, short-term rented, it's still a single family use, so.
right, okay.
They'll still be residential.
Yeah.
For that. And
Yeah, we don't have any regulations that regulate short-term rentals at this point, so.
And the driveway is still there too, right, for that house?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's an existing apron from when it was the plant depot that we're using the same apron. We're not proposing opening anything up anymore.
Jeremy, why don't you read your memo and.
I can read the at least the items that
Right.
I have on there, because
Sure.
I have to still to complete the memo.
Right.
So just a few items that I noted. Number one, the food truck, that's really close. The food truck and picnic table gravel pad is shown encroaching onto state road right away and into the required 10-foot front yard setback. All new improvements must comply with the 10-foot front yard setback in the LB zone in accordance with section 5.11.3 of the regulations. The gravel pad shall be reduced to meet the front yard setback requirements along East Main Street and Hartford Ave. Number two, the proposed fencing shall be relocated out of the state road easement onto private property. Number three, the typical location of the food truck and picnic tables should be added to the plans. Number four, trees and shrubs are required along East Main Street and Hartford Avenue in compliance with 5.11.3 of the regulations. please contact Nate and Artie Cyrus, Assistant Planner, to discuss those requirements. And number 5, no handicap parking spaces are identified on the proposed plans. A minimum of 1 van accessible handicap parking space is required for the new use. Waivers aren't allowed in the zoning regulations for required handicap parking. All dimensional and grading requirements in section 5.13.4.d shall be followed.
Thank you. All right, so the plans need to be updated, so
Yeah.
we won't be making a decision this evening on the proposal. Any other-
So they're all noted in
Yeah.
that. You have the same memo. So, yep.
Any other commissioners have any questions at this point?
No,
We continue to a later date.
I do.
Go
How
ahead,
many
Donna.
vehicles will be parked in this area here?
That'll be for what, your trailer?
Yeah, so I have the coffee truck that we have up there, daily, and then I have a trailer that we also use, and I'd like to, keep my truck there as well that
Oh,
I
okay,
use
so
to
it's
pull the
your-
trailer.
okay.
Yeah, yep,
It's just for his vehicle storage.
yep.
Yeah, we just want to identify what the commercial, trailers and trucks are where they're gonna be on the site. Yeah. Where you park, like that other spot where you're parking commercial vehicles, that's sort of whatever, you just use in that area.
Right.
But since the commercial end of it's going to be semi-permanent or permanent, we just want to know where those are going to sit, and the tables.
so the 5 spots that are noted there now, that those are gonna pretty much stay coming off of Hartford Ave, not East Main Street, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a very basic requirement, because there's, we do it by square footage, so there's really only 1 required parking spot. It just has to be a van accessible handicap space.
Yeah, no, I just think it makes more sense to come in off of Hartford Ave.
Well, the handicap space counts towards the requirement. So yeah, you're gonna want something for other than,
Do you have on-site power for the truck, or you run?
I use a generator.
Okay. Obviously, noise is an issue at some point. I'm sure it's probably a quiet.
It is, it's a Honda, it's only 52 decibels.
so and they're observing the required, there is a 25-foot required buffer from the residential zone. So they are observing it on the
The
plan.
wood line there.
There's a 25-foot. The existing tree line is 25 feet, and we're keeping all those
All
trees.
right. Very good. All right, we'll get those updated and come back and see us.
Thank you.
Coordinate with Jeremy. Thank you. You want to shift gears and get back to that one?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You want me to update them, or do you want to do it?
I can shift. We're gonna backtrack here to item number 6C, site plan application number 1421, applicant Dibble Street Associates LLC, 1565 East Main Street, proposal site plan change of use from former auto salvage lot to retail storage shed sales. We did have this table since the applicant was not with us, but since he has arrived, Mr. Borghese, you can join us now. Thank you, sir.
They don't mess around.
Just stop playing with your phone, sir, and come up and present.
Hold on, I gotta bring this other one back up again.
I apologize. My client is gonna show up, we'll be all done, hopefully.
Where are you?
My name is Alan Borghese, Chairman of Borghese Building and Engineering Company. I am a member of the LLC that owns this parcel of land. And you're all probably pretty familiar with it. We bought a parking lot that was developed on this parcel and then the house next door, probably 3 years ago, and we haven't used it since. Be very candid, we've had several uses that were very excited about it, and one of them was a restaurant, but I have a non-compete with Wendy's of chicken sandwiches on the site, and then also a to-go window, and today's restaurants all have to-go windows, so I erred a little bit, but to go on, we had a car wash approved for that site to be there, and I did not personally think a car wash should be there, so I rejected it to the surprise of the developer that wanted it. I'm looking at this as a possible temporary use. I'm going to show you the brochure of the gentleman. David has a business right now in Winston. He runs his business of selling, I'll call them backyard sheds. That's a very poor word, but it really is, I guess, the correct word. And he knows that if he has more visibility, he'll do better. He asked me if he could rent the lot basically as is. And I thought it would be kind of a nice use. I asked him the kind of traffic count he would use. And he thought that the busiest day in the whole world, if he got 10 cars, he'd be amazed. But typically 1 or 2 cars, and he will not be there all the time. He'd rather put his sheds up there, like Clotter Farms has next to their place. And when somebody wants to visit and go into one of these sheds, he would do it for them, or he'd custom build a shed. And from my point of view, and I'm thinking for the town, it's not a bad use for that nice level area. It needs some gravel on it. There is already a detention basin that we left in place from the paved area that was there previously. And all of the area around the wetlands, after we leveled it, I seeded it, and it's growing very, very well. So the wetlands is really protected. So I drew a quick sketch of possible layouts of sheds. It doesn't mean that's where they'll be. It doesn't mean that's that is exactly the size sheds to use, but that's typical. And I think it would be an excellent temporary use for that lot. So I'm requesting permission to do that.
So these are typically display models, so to speak, Alan?
They will be constructed models. He'll be displaying them there. That's literally, he'll be displaying them and selling them as people look at them. He's going to have one of the sheds for himself for an office, and he will perhaps write up contracts. There's no bathrooms, there's no electricity,
Right.
no yard lighting, nothing.
So there's no moving of these sheds once they're there either.
Oh, no, they'll be portable. He might sell one from there.
Okay, so he would be, okay.
Yep.
And those are sheds of this size are typically on a flatbed, like a car carrier or the low boy trailers.
Yeah, and they
that
typically
rotate and so
dump.
forth, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them. I think all of us have seen them.
Right, any commissioners have any comments or questions?
Now seems pretty simple.
Seems
Jeremy?
pretty simple, but that spot right there, I don't know, I can't picture a tractor trailer trying to back in there to put one of those, either delivering one or putting one on the flatbed.
Diane, it's not a tractor trailer typically. It's like a low boy
Yeah,
trailer. And actually, I've seen these dropped on other locations where actually when the unit was ordered, it's, which way was the door supposed to be? And for example, it's supposed to be to the cab of the truck. Well, it shows up as backwards. And the guy's like, well, no problem. He bends out, he gets under the truck, pulls a couple pins, rotates the entire bed of
Okay.
the truck around, rotates it.
okay.
and
I
moves.
understand that, because
Yeah.
that's how they did it when they delivered one to our, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
So I think maneuverability in there shouldn't be an issue.
Right, right.
I think probably something like this, the greatest activity is probably going to be when they're initially brought in,
Right,
one
okay.
after the other. Okay.
Now, Jeremy has walked this site, and it's flat up there, absolutely flat.
Yeah, it's.
And the
it's-
driveway into there is relatively modest. So it's really good. And the driveway is paved.
Okay,
Yeah, it's already paved.
Well,
Would
for
you
a
guys
low
even-
usage like this, I think that driveway, this is probably one of the better uses versus, as you had mentioned, a possible car wash where there's multiple cars coming and going, because it's a tough area right there. 'Cause you're almost in a little blind spot, aren't you?
exactly, yeah.
And
Would you guys
Alan and I
consider
talked-
doing an only right turn only out of the place?
I didn't hear
What
that.
was that, Tommy?
A only right turn out of that place?
Kind of like at the Valvoline place there.
Yeah,
As an engineer, I'll state to you, the sightline distance, that is the crest of the hill, the sightline distance, both ways, left and right, is excellent. Right next door to it is the entrance to the Valvoline / package store / Wendy's. And that is a right turn in and right turn out only. But the amount of traffic there anticipated was a lot greater than this. And, but I'll be very candid with you. I've driven, in fact, Jerry drove in and out of there It's very, very good sightline distance.
Yeah, I mean, I had to slow down a little just because I didn't know when to look for it, but the sight lines are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and Alan and I discussed a connection, an internal connection to the Valvoline, plaza. But I think we kind of reserve that for a more permanent use. I think with the amount of traffic this is going to generate,
Well, I'd hate
we
to see
want
that.
to minimize the ins and outs to East Main Street, but I don't think this is going to
I
be
hate
that
to
heavy.
see
to
it
use.
cut in now and it's
Yeah.
right in the way of a
Right.
future development.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So,
Just throwing it out there.
What's that, Tom?
I said I was just throwing it out there because I know that is a little tough area when you come up over that knoll.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Jeremy, you have a memo?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a full memo,
Okay.
but I mean,
I'll just read the. Yeah, some of the high points.
Yeah,
and then
just the
we'll,
items, yeah, I'll read it in full, later on,
Yeah.
but so I just had a few items of note on the plans. We didn't actually circulate these plans until Monday. So the notes I had was the submitted plans do not bear an engineer stamp and seal and are required on at least one set of filed plans. Number two, no handicap spaces are identified. We have to identify a minimum of one van accessible handicap space for the retail use. We can't allow any waivers for that. All dimensional and grading requirements in the section 5.13.4.d shall be followed. And then number three, just a basic zoning table showing applicable information for the site. And we are waiting since they've only had it for 2 days, we're waiting for comments back from our.
All right, so if you can update those plans and those components, Alan, we'll see you again.
I will be happy to. Are you passing it with that a condition? Is that what you?
We're not gonna make a decision right now.
Yeah, we haven't received any comments back yet, so it's too many, like the whole thing, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of comments, but I can't presume. We haven't gotten anything back yet. And I couldn't push for a 48-hour turnaround, so.
All right, so you're saying that we have to come back for another meeting? Can we wait?
Yeah, and what I can do is just forward you things as if we get anything worthwhile, I can forward them to you so you can deal with them way ahead. But I haven't gotten any comments
Because
back
there's no
yet.
conditional.
We don't even know what we'd be conditioning, so. So if Paul had, say,
Right.
a comment, we can
Right.
condition it on a specific comment from Paul, but
Yeah, nobody's received.
I don't know what those could be, if there's any. There may be none. There may be no.
Right.
Again, I hate to be pushy on this, but it would be really nice if we could say that subject to Paul's comments, which I don't think will be significant.
I don't think so either, but.
I don't know, how do you feel about it? I mean, we know in our hearts that this is not a significant activity. I appreciate that, that's all. If you can't do it, I understand.
Could this be done under an agent determination?
I don't think so. Well, first of all, we are going to need an agent permit. I think that we're going to have an agent determination through wetlands. We're going to have to do something with at least a basic agent determination. Which is, I think, another reason why we can't make a decision tonight, because we don't have a wetlands report.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that in itself is going to force us to have to continue it. But other than that, I don't think we're going to get a lot of serious feedback on this. So
Well, the wetlands is an important component, so.
yeah, we can't make a decision without that wetlands report. So I believe, in discussions with our assistant planner, he's gonna ask for just submission of a simple application for an agent determination.
All right, so we'll be making a decision in the future, Alan.
Okay, so
Yeah.
should I come back for another meeting?
Yeah, I mean, our next meeting is October 26th.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we've gotten this out of the way, so it's really just a matter of the updated plans. And if you could just give a call to Nate, because he's gonna probably ask for a real basic wetlands application. Just so we can get that done
Okay, is that the 26th of next month?
of next month. Yeah.
Okay, I lose a month, okay.
Yeah, we are unfortunately a week later next month because of some conflicts with the room. Normally, we're in the third week. But we're in the fourth next month.
Alrighty.
Do we need to table?
Oh, we did,
Yeah. Do I have a motion to table this? Do
So moved, Tom Tellman.
I have a second?
Second.
Donna Greco, all's in favor?
Hi,
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Oh, we should. Yeah, do you have an extra of those?
You want that?
Yeah, just since
Thank you.
I don't want to take your only copy if you don't.
Your time again.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. All right, moving on to agenda item number 6F. Discuss proposed drafts for text amendments to the zoning regulations. Number 1, section 6, amend section to remove downtown district maximum residential densities.
So there's a couple of different things here. This has been tossed around for a while. This look at our density requirements in the downtown district. And it also aligns with the recommendations of our just newly passed affordable housing plan. It's not necessarily restricted to affordable housing, but it's really mixed use developments in downtown. Effectively, what this would do is remove the density restrictions that we already had for mixed use housing, with the requirement that ground level, especially street level spaces, are reserved for non-residential uses. I had a few discussions with our code officers, especially the building official. And we've got, between our regulations and code, the other code requirements, I think we've got some good restrictions on it already. We have a 60-foot height restriction already on buildings in the downtown. There's some minimum requirements for size of units. We're restricting, this proposes to restrict ground floor, except a waiver by special exception of up to 50% in maybe we've got a certain application that it makes sense to waive some of the ground floor commercial, but we can do that by special exception. And also gives us, just sticking to the ground floor, discussion, it would allow us to also allow, say, if we have a large building where only part of it fronts the street, we could allow like rear residential. But we really want to, in this, make sure we keep our street frontage ground floor as non-residential, but otherwise we wouldn't restrict the density in any buildings. So I believe this was sent out last week with the packets, with my giant packets that I sent out. I went through the incentive housing overlay zone, and I only added one piece to this. And it would be on page 35 at the bottom. It just says maximum units per acre density requirements do not apply to projects in the underlying downtown district. That's the only thing that changes in incentive housing. And then all the way at section 6.0 for special exceptions, I just struck the density requirement in the affordable housing section. And then all the way at the bottom of that page, affordable housing developments in the DD zone shall comply with section 6.8.17. And I added a whole section in 6.8.17, which is way back in page 109. You don't have that page? Did I double side those?
Oh,
No, I didn't.
okay.
Oh, okay. Out of all the paper I sent you, I didn't send you that page. here, I'll just pass mine down, get a quick look at it. That's this, okay. So that's the section that, that spells out the non-residential uses on the ground floor, you know, up to 50% waiver by special exception, minimum of 400 square feet. That actually, that 400 square foot number, if everyone would recall, we made changes to the accessory apartment regulations
Yeah.
last fall.
Yeah.
And that 400 square feet matches the minimum for an accessory apartment.
So wasn't this an effect when Libby Furniture redid their building and the gentleman that just redid his building by next to Petricones?
So they actually adhered to the density requirements for those.
Right.
There were some larger apartments. I think,
Right.
too. So
Yeah.
so they went under the old density requirements and they met those.
Okay.
I think it's no more than 20 units per acre. And
So
that-
this new rate, so this new update is relaxing that a bit?
yeah, so no, we'd still have that minimum of 400 square feet, but
Okay.
he may, you know, I'm not sure what his preference would have been, but he may have been able to squeeze a couple more units in that building if he wanted to, if he didn't want to do the large ones.
Gotcha. Okay.
We're not looking at a big use because, like I said, the other regulations control the building heights and the minimum sizes and the, you know, the egress requirements.
Right.
All kind of control this density anyway. And we are leaving the density requirements in outside of the downtown district. So we're only talking about the downtown district. Without there being, I mean, the whole point here is to provide housing where you might not have or need a vehicle. So it generates, you know, foot traffic in our downtown, you know, especially where in the city center here, where most of the public services are within walking distance.
Sure.
So, you know, that was the thought. We, you know, the mayor and Rista and I had, you know, multiple conversations about this, and I agreed, at least in the downtown, that this should be something worthy to look at.
Any commissioners have any comments?
No.
So Jeremy, this change aligns with our city public policy in terms of aligning better with the POCD and the
The
draft.
POCD and the affordable housing plan.
Thank you.
And I think I mentioned in the memo here too, that if you look at a lot of other cities as larger than us, very few of them actually have density requirements within their downtown core anyway, within their village districts or city centers or whatever they happen to call them.
Thanks.
So this is something that could be beneficial also for the person that owns the old Wolcott carpet place. That would pertain to that regulation, right?
Yeah, they were just, right. So again, they would probably just be able to fit a unit or, you know, a couple of units more inside the building.
On the second floor there, yeah.
Yeah. We're still restricting the lower floors to commercial.
Mhm.
You know, we want that street front commercial there.
Sure. Which I believe he's redone, right, in that
Yeah.
building?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that being said, the second floor access for apartments and so forth, especially handicap components, would require elevators
Yeah,
in most of these situations. Okay.
yeah, and there was, I think I believe it's actually, I don't know if we discussed it, and I actually can't remember if I actually put it in the regulations, but we were talking about shared entrances for, I don't know if I actually put it in here, shared entrances and for those that we do allow on the first floor, just so we don't have multiple residential entrances going into a building. I don't actually see if we put it in here. I know we discussed it, but it could be something we discuss as part of it. Yeah, so I'm picturing like a building that we may grant the waivers to, say we say, okay, 50% of your bottom floor can be residential. We don't want to see, say it's 6 apartments. We don't want to see 6 separate entrances on the first floor. We're going to want to see kind of one, if they can, one, or minimizing at least the residential entrances to maybe a foyer or something, or a hallway that shares interior, the interior entrances into the apartments.
Mhm.
All right, and then we'll go on to 6F, item 2, new section for special events. And this was emailed to commissioners by Jeremy.
About 6:30.
Yeah.
So
check your emails.
Yeah. So again, this was the presentation we had for that special meeting last month, and I borrowed some regulations from some other towns, but also kind of combed through the discussions that we had, the presentations that we did with our consultant, and pulled some items out of there. Essentially for these events, we're looking to control minimum acreage, which I started with 5 acres, and that's something we can discuss if we think that's too small, or if we want to adjust that. I'm just starting at letter A down below.
Right.
The whole preamble is kind of just, what a special event includes or doesn't include. But these restrictions and conditions, I have a minimum of 5 acres. Commission may limit the hours, may limit the frequency per day, week, month, or year. I put in here no more than 6 events shall be conducted for single day weekend events each calendar year. That we can adjust depending on how comfortable the commissioners are. I just started at 6 because I'm thinking, we really have 6 good months out of the year to do this stuff, and I'm thinking once a month. But if we think that's too much, we can adjust this number. Single events no more than 3 days in length unless specifically waived by the commission as a condition of a special exception. Food service, if anything is food service, approvals from Torrington Area Health. Liquor, pending all, we don't have our own local regulations anymore, but state laws, if they're found in violation of any state laws, we can pull their special exception or not reapprove it if we have a history of violations. Outdoor sound, again, it's we'd have to see what is presented. Commission may limit location, size, frequency, and hours. And then retail sale of items limited to patrons of the events. And then, the next section, I just go down the application requirements for what we want to see on the applications.
Jeremy, in regard to the minimum 5 acres of land.
Yep.
Is there any way to find potential sites based on that criteria?
You want me to identify I can have a map done with all the 5 acre parcels?
That's
5 acre.
That's available?
Yeah, I had one done we had a regulation that said 8 acres or over, and I think that was when we were evaluating the affordable housing plan. So we did have a map done with 8 acre parcels. But yeah,
I guess where I'm going with it is, we're looking at all of this, and if, for example, if it's 5, what are we looking at? 2 locations? What I mean? Or
Right.
whatever the case is.
I know with 8 acres, we had about 25 parcels that were 25 to 30, that were 8 acres plus.
Right.
But they were mostly obviously in the outskirts of town,
Right.
but they were pretty well spread out within that.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing, and maybe other commissioners would be interested in that, just
Right.
where are the potential sites
Right.
scattered? Do we have 10 sites? Do we have 100 sites?
Right.
Yep.
See what we're up against.
Yeah.
That's a very good suggestion.
Thank you.
And then the very last piece of this, it just says that we can't, special exceptions are supposed to run with the land, but we have control over site plans. And the state law allows us to approve site plans for as little as 2 years. So if we have an event that we think we need to revisit, we can make the site plan only valid for 2 years.
All right.
So my thought here is between these two regulation amendments, I would recommend that we go to hearing with the downtown district regs, but I think we ought to digest the special event regs a little
All
more.
right.
Mhm.
I don't know how comfortable the
You
commission
wanna-
is with the.
We'll make that motion.
Make a motion. And this is for the,
Section
Events.
6.
The downtown district density, yeah.
Make a motion to
Make
go
a
to public
motion.
hearing.
for a public hearing, and when would that be?
October 26th.
October 26th.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Diane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. All right, and then 6F, number 2, the new section, special events. Jeremy, you're gonna still do a little homework on that?
Yeah, I'll do a little homework on that and then I'll present that at October and maybe we'll be in shape to do
Alright.
it for November. But
Alright.
I just finished this, so I think everybody needs a little time
Yeah, sure.
to look at it.
You've been
Alright.
busy.
Yes.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 7, correspondence. A, zoning and blight violation update. I believe everyone
Mhm.
has in their packet
Yes.
the updates. Anything, Jeremy, you wanna?
The only big
Highlight.
update is, of course, I don't have it right in front of me. Oh, thank you. The only big thing I wanted to update is 446 Newfield Road. That was our illegal pig farm I guess it's on a property under 3 acres. I received this about 2.5 years ago as a complaint through animal control and have been trying to follow up on it ever since. So we are in the middle of a court case on this. So hopefully coming to a resolution fairly soon.
Okay.
The other stuff's kind of basically in a holding pattern because I don't want to inundate Corporation Council with more than 1 or 2 cases.
Right. Okay. All righty.
How many pigs does he have?
I think they fluctuate, but my guess is anywhere from a couple to 10 to 15. Yeah,
Big range.
it's a rescue, so
Oh.
and there's actually other they have like chickens and other farm animals on the property too, but they don't meet our requirement for, I think, at the beginning, animal control had some concerns about things, so they sent it to us as well, and this is the way we could deal with it on our minimum acreage.
All right, we're good.
Jeremy, I have one question on Airbnb right now. So as it sits right now, the only regulation is it has to be a single family home.
Yeah, it just has to be, even if it's a 2-family home, it has to remain a 2-family home. They can't add more units for Airbnbs or something like that. We just don't, beyond that, we don't regulate what we call short-term rentals at the moment.
Okay. Is that something that's going to happen, do you think, or no?
Well, this kind of goes back to Marty. It's if things don't become a problem, we don't have a need to regulate them. If we
Okay.
start to have a lot of concerns about short-term rentals, then we can look into it. But that's kind of the way it's always been, because we don't have like a lake or something like that would attract a lot of short-term rentals. So they're kind of sporadic.
Yeah.
So the way we've dealt with it, as long as it stays single family, if they want to rent their house and the neighbors aren't getting too upset, then we just let things be unless it becomes a huge problem.
It is becoming more attractive to investors, though. I do get that question asked a lot.
Yeah.
Can we do them in Torrington? So I just want
Yeah. I mean,
correct
they're
information.
not regulated at the moment.
Okay.
That's what I tell everybody. Just what I always say is don't make it a problem. So we have to write a regulation.
Okay. Cool.
And just to touch upon that, and if I may, Jeremy, at one point, there was a presentation at one of the AquaTurf presentation meetings a few years back that I recall going to. And the presenters were touching upon the financial aspects of, say, an Airbnb versus a chain hotel.
Mhm.
And the issues at hand were, you know, a chain hotel is charging, say, 200 a night. The Airbnb is charging 130 a night because possibly they're skipping out on paying the appropriate taxes and room taxes and so on and so forth. So from a state level, you know, there was eyes upon this, you know, along the way that, you know, there's going to be some scrutiny probably at some point with it.
Yeah, the state has sort of thrown the legislature has sort of thrown some bills and they've just never gone anywhere.
Right.
And with state management of short-term rentals.
You know, and a lot of that had generated from like the major hotel chains and so forth, because, you know, they have the overhead, they have all the insurances and so forth. They're paying all the appropriate taxes and so forth. You know, you get Mary Smith that's just, you know, renting a room for cash for, you know, $1.25.
Yeah.
You know, they're beating the system and they're hurting the rest of the industry on the legit end, so to speak. So, you know, but I think, Diane, as you mentioned, you know, it's not going away. It's probably going to get
Not
more
going away. No.
dominant.
No, I think it would be.
So,
And I think as far as weighing in as a planner, it's really up to the community, how they want to, I mean, it's not whether we permit them or just let them lie at the moment is not really a planning decision. Because like I said, the structure is being used for the same use. But
But like 3 years ago, there was one that was done up here in the Upper East End, and it was being rented out per night or just for a weekend. And there was some concern, but from the neighbors.
Mhm.
I know Marty was aware of it as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so there has been a problem, you know, that's just
Okay.
one. So I don't know if it's worth, you know, starting that conversation or not and just having it.
Yeah.
I mean, short term is, I guess, means different thing to different people, but
Yeah, that's just how they're defined
Yeah.
legally as a short-term rental.
right.
But Airbnbs are just one type of short-term rental.
Right.
If Airbnb though makes it much more likely that folks are going to rent their homes out short term, then that being an industry in and of itself, if it doesn't regulate itself well, that's when we end up stepping in or having to step in, right? So I guess what I'm saying is I generally endorse the approach taken traditionally, which is, you know, whenever you do something, you can have unintended consequences as well. So you wait until there's a problem to address, maybe. Generally speaking, it makes sense.
And I think that there is some popularity of being close to downtown too.
Yeah.
well, here's
So
another
it's not like it has to be on a lake. I mean, there's
No.
people that love being, you know, within a community and just walking everywhere.
Yeah, so if we had a multi-family building, say,
Right.
or any one of the units here above the businesses in downtown, they could rent their unit out for a weekend.
But I think the gray area with any of this is you create your home now as a B&B.
Mhm.
So now you're running a business,
Yeah, and we have specific regulations for B&Bs.
right?
Right.
Yeah, so theoretically that B&B should be approved
Yeah.
here, correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're
Because
running,
now it's a business.
if you're running a legit bed and breakfast, yeah. Yeah. But bed and breakfasts kind of are,
B&B
But-
versus an Airbnb.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Airbnbs
B&B is
tend to
not a
be
short
like-
term. B&B is not a short term rental.
Yeah. I mean, that's the approved, like, that's what they do is rent those out. And most of the time, B&Bs, the owner's on site, most of the
That's a
time.
requirement.
Yeah.
That the owner is on
I thought
site.
it
Yeah,
was,
Yeah.
If Airbnbs, they don't have to be.
Well, and it's on public record.
Yeah.
Our house is listed as an Airbnb on land records.
Right.
You know, years back, we changed the zone, went through the procedure and so forth. That's one of the caveats is that it's got to be owner occupied if you're renting out rooms in the house.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, or at least on site, even if not in the house, somewhere on site, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if the commission, if at any point the commission feels strongly enough, there are sample regulations all over the place, especially for the coastal towns and some of the other towns in Litchfield County for short-term rentals, so.
Well, and just to touch upon the coastal towns for a moment. For example, like in the Narragansett area,
Mhm.
the short-term rentals, the week, 2-week stays typically aren't are not an issue.
Right.
When the issues arrive, it's typically during a college time when you got, set clientele that's living full-time in the properties and create party central and so
Mhm.
forth. Now it's a more permanent environment, so
Yeah.
to speak, for these people versus the transients in and out.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hear about problems in like, say the Madisons of the world all the time.
Mhm.
They have the same problems, even when they have regulations, people don't get approvals and they cause problems in certain neighborhoods and. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else this evening?
Nope.
Hire 87,000 new IRS agents, so they'll be watching those in.
Gonna make sure.
That's right. All righty. Well, the time is 7:57. Moving on to agenda item 8, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Diane Carroll.
Thank you, Diane. Do I have a second? Second from Donna Greco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good-
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Aye.
everybody.
Thank you.